Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another race in the ALTTPR League. We have a pretty good one for you today, as we have the top two teams from the I forgot their division, but we have the top two teams from their division playing off today. We've got the Phendrana Drifters, the only undefeated team remaining in the league, facing off against the second place team of their division, Waffle House Drive-Thru. A lot on the line this week. I'm JP, and I am joined by Drossi.
Hey, sorry about that. We had that little volume snafu, as you may have noticed, and I was trying to deal with it.
I did notice it came in a bit hot.
Yeah, just a bit. Anyway, yeah, I'm really psyched for this race. A lot at stake here, especially, if Waffle House Drive-Thru can sweep this series, they'd have the tiebreaker against Phendrana Drifters and take over the division. So, it's certainly the biggest challenge the Drifters have had to deal with so far in their... Well, they're the last remaining undefeated team in either league, so that's pretty impressive right there.
Especially in this league where we've seen so many teams that have taken losses. This league's been so close this year in the Invitational that you just aren't that surprised when somebody big goes down. Even if you think it was a mismatch, there's not really any mismatches this season.
Yeah, no, that's been one of the really great things about having two leagues. We've avoided a lot of the mismatches from last season and have had a lot of really hype races.
Yep, we'll see how this one as it starts. It's open mode. We have a sword to start. No Triforce Hunt, at least.
Mercifully. And some money and some health as the easy-to-get items here.
No map shuffle. We see crystals at Eastern and Desert and a pendant at Hera.
Always nice when you see two Light World crystals, unless, of course, this winds up being Ped Seed.
Ooh, nice. 8 bombs from the tree pull. And they'll both get those.
Yeah, nice way to stock up on bombs early.
Get a bow. It says from the uncle. So potential rush of Eastern unless we've got a big key shuffle. Nothing on Lumberjack.
Yeah, it's always interesting when runners start off with totally different routing choices.
Yeah, these early choices have worked for Matt a little bit better, but we're only a minute in.
Oh wow, Matt's actually doing escape off the bat. You very rarely see this in an open seed, that a runner does this routing.
Which might be part of his reasoning for doing it, is that he doesn't think his opponent's going to do it.
Oh yeah, if there's something here, it could pay off big because it could easily be quite a while before Frostbite comes here.
Shield to start.
And of course, even more so, if there's... Well, I guess, given the weird open key logic, the only place a key could be up front would be in the Dark Cross chest. You can't have the key in Boomerang chest or Zelda's cell. But if there's a key in Dark Cross and he goes to the back and there's a glove there, that's obviously the biggest possible payoff.
Yeah, but of course we still need to find out if it's a... we need to find out if it's a key shuffle at all. Speaking of a glove, though, Frostbite just found one.
So don't go to the back, Matt. You're going to get a glove soon enough.
There's Samaria as well. Now, we should get some indication on Big Key Shuffle here on Matt's side.
Yeah, if we get a message with the big key, then big keys are shuffled.
Okay, they're shuffled. So rushing Eastern loses a little bit of value.
Oh, and Frostbite finds a bottle. This is working out really well for him. He'll be able to check Sick Kid. I mean, Matt will come to Kakariko, I'm sure, soon enough. But unfortunately, since we know where the glove is, it would have been easier to do the back with the glove, and then if Dark Cross is a small key, you just don't do Dark Cross.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a risk when you play this way, as Frostbite also finds the Moon Pearl. He's one item from Dark World access.
Is this going to be one of those 5-minute Dark World access seeds?
Well, at least we'd know our goal pretty quick then.
Assuming we have a hammer and can get over there. If it's mid-Dark World access, we'll be kind of cut off from that.
That's true. Unless they want to pull off a minor glitch to get over there. Which they might. Oh, first big key to Pod. Palace of Darkness in the dark.
So that was a worthwhile trek. Or at least we assume it was. No way of knowing if Pod's going to be required.
Yeah, we won't know that for a little bit. Because even if it's... Well, actually, we don't have a shuffled map, so we can check as soon as we get to Dark World, but we still need to know our goal.
And just some more money on the race game there.
So, to answer the question, I'm actually not sure what sprite Frostbite's using. I've seen him use... It's his regular sprite. I just never remember what the name is. Okay, answer in chat, it's Plague Knight.
So, this check in the back will also tell us if we have small key shuffle, because if there's not a small key back here, they must be shuffled.
They are not. So, so far, we've only confirmed a big key shuffle.
Yeah, and we don't know compasses one way or the other.
It looks like they're gonna swap places with Frostbite doing the front of Escape.
So, all told, this should be basically a wash, and assuming Matt does the back of Escape after this, any time difference will be purely a matter of execution.
Yep, exactly. Though we will see if Frostbite goes for the Dark Cross chest or not. He will know there's going to be an item there because he saw the map and the small key in the back. And after this, though, it's supposed to have plenty. We got South Shore, we got Eastern and Sahara Slough. We could still sequence break up Death Mountain, potentially.
Yeah, though without the mirror of the hookshot, we're not going to get very far if we do.
Yeah, you'd want one of those before you sequence break up there. More likely the hookshot, because mirror just gets you access to Pendant Hera.
So it is interesting, you know, that ultimately the runners chose to make the same first checks. You don't see that very often, like, especially given, you know, Mini Moldorm Cave, and they already have a sword and Cane of Samaria, and bow, so no shortage of weapons. It's a little bit surprising neither of them wanted to go there.
Yeah, density checks usually are nice, but I mean, in situations like this, you also don't want to be too predictable sometimes, because if your opponent knows what you're going to do, and they feel as though they can out-execute you, then they're just going to copy you. So you sometimes want to mix it up a little bit so your opponent can't easily predict what you're going to do. And I know some of these runners will sit and watch their opponent's VODs to see what their decision making.
And by the way, for you know, just how heads up these runners are in terms of saving any little bit of time they can, you may have noticed a couple rooms back that Frostbite didn't pick up the key because he's like, well, I got the one in the back. I'm not going to open the door between Dark Cross and Back of Escape. I don't need an extra key. I'll save a second.
Exactly. Knowing those little things can definitely save you time. It looks like we are basically going to be at a wash as these two runners are doing the last things that the other did. So I think Matt's going to be slightly ahead after this.
Depends how quickly Frostbite can get the chest open in Dark Cross. Matt had to, like, poke around a little bit. But you are right.
And so let's see what the next decisions are. Looks like Matt's going to do South Shore. No rupees, so sequence break to King Zora. Not ideal yet unless we get a 300 pack.
Though at least with the Moon Pearl, we can do Waterfall Cave if we do wind up sequence breaking.
There's our lamp.
So the game even intended us to get that pod key.
Yep, it did.
And that also puts Death Mountain in logic.
Yeah, it's 2 checks up there, but yeah, with them in logic now, they're a little more appealing.
I mean, if the old man happens to have the hammer...
Or we get a soggy book.
So unless Desert... No, we don't have the big key. It's shuffled big keys. I was just realizing that... I was gonna say unless Desert's boots locked, we can do the whole thing, but no, we kind of need that big key.
Yeah, I could still go to Desert, but you definitely can't finish it. Though the game might want us to go to Desert for the hammer, so I can't rule that out.
Yeah, an early book like that often means that there's progression in Desert, even if you can't finish it.
Alright, Mini Moldorm Cave, a Boomerang, a sword upgrade. Now Aga can be done.
I'm sure that's just what you want to see.
Well, in Mystery Week, making the Aga play isn't quite as risky, because at worst, you get your goal information.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't end up being required.
Oh yeah, it's nice, you know, having pyramid access just like that.
It's still a time sink if you do it and you don't have to, but at least there's a little bit of a silver lining to it. And I think that also, for some runners, that'll mean that even if they have a few Light World checks left, they might be a little more willing to go do Aga a little earlier.
Oh, yay.
Buried in the...
Apart from the sword upgrade, we didn't really get anything going this way.
And Matt's gonna take that book and go straight to Desert.
Totally makes sense. I mean, it's the most item-rich area left.
Well, we do have Saharsla and...
Oh, right.
Eastern. But I don't blame him. You know, follow the progression here. Early book usually means something in Desert. And with the big key shuffle, potentially you have access to 3 items? Well, no, I think you're only going to max out at 2 available here. Maybe you see the 3rd. But then there is also Ledge, so...
Yeah. You get a Gina, you get the Ledge, so that's 2 outside. So yeah, Eastern, you know, a little bit more because you have 3 in Sahasrara.
Yeah, Eastern's a little more dense, but logic's pointing you towards deserts.
Of course, with our luck, the Eastern big key is probably vanilla or French vanilla.
I'll laugh if we actually get the Eastern big key in desert and they have to go to Eastern next.
Hey, given these seeds, you never know.
Oh, there's the hammer.
Well, the book was definitely the right way to read the seed.
So they'll make their checks in desert and then go pick up that hammer. Now this still might be a boots lock desert if the first chest is not a small key.
Or it could be a big key lock desert if the small key's in the big chest.
Oh yeah, that is true. Or we get a hook shot.
So we're gonna not only have Dark World access, but all of Light Death Mountain access. And yes, that small key is sitting in the big chest.
So now you got a decision to make, but I'd still say in this scenario you go do Hype Cave and get your goal information.
Yeah, if it's not Mystery Week, it's a tougher decision with Mystery on. Just the knowledge of the goal early in the game can be so important.
Yeah, you want to know, like, if you find it's a ped goal, then you go straight up Death Mountain right now and go do Hera. If it's not a ped goal, then you kind of think through your options a little more.
And with that hook shot, we can in fact Harapot and don't need the big key to beat it.
Well, there's our info. Green pendant Turtle Rock, blue pendants at Skullwoods, and I think it was reds at Swamp and Thieves Town.
Yep.
Both are going to Hype Cave. I expect both to go to Pyramid right after this. Not a good Hype Cave.
No, the health was really the only halfway decent thing that came out of it.
And they are a little, well, they're a little unhelped. They do have blue mail, so 6 hearts is probably good for them.
So one thing about the settings here is Ganon will always require at least 3 crystals. So whether it's a ped seed or some sort of Ganon goal, you know you're going to have to beat at least 3 dungeons, no matter what.
So we're looking for the sign, and we'll be looking to see if the Ganon hole is open. And it's 7 crystals, defeat Ganon.
Huh. So then the follow-up question, which we won't know until we get the mitts, is how many crystals to get into GT?
Yeah.
Because the fewer crystals for GT, the more likely GT is to have progression.
And here's a good move by Matt. He's going straight to pod. He knows it's a crystal. He's got the big key. Frostbite might even make the same choice as him. Yeah,
and he knows it's not Enemizer, so it's not like Trinex is going to suddenly show up in there.
That's true, too. So, defeat Ganon 7. This is kind of on the more vanilla side of Mystery Week. I mean, I guess GT could still throw a wrench into this. We'll have to see.
But yeah, the only things out of the ordinary we've seen so far are the Assured Sword and the Big Key Shuffle.
I'm looking through what we need for big keys. We're gonna need Eastern Big, Desert Big, Thieves Town Big, and Meyer Big, as well as the GT Big. And I think we've pretty much confirmed Small Key Shuffle. Oh yeah, we confirmed that back in Hyrule Castle.
But the key there under that first chest double confirmed it.
I don't think we've seen any compasses yet, so I really do think it is just big keys shuffled.
Yeah, statistically, you'd think we would have seen a compass by now if they were shuffled.
So the one change that does make to logic is every dungeon will have one extra check to it. So pod here, instead of 5 items, it's going to be 6.
Right, but... oh. Now that's interesting. There was a big key in the big key chest.
Yep, and it's sending us to a Penton dungeon.
And small key logic still applies for pod. So 4 in the front. Though we should mention that there is, I believe, a 35% chance of beatable only mode, which means that if there's a dungeon you don't need to go into, you could be locked out of it. Like, we know Desert isn't boots locked. We could find, like, boots on the torch in Ganon's tower.
That's a possibility for sure, and if that happened, I think any runner would be mad if they saw that.
Yeah, but it would sure make a good clip.
It would. And there's our confirmation on compasses. And Frostbite's gonna rush Helmasaur King. This move I've been seeing a little bit more and more in recent months. And it's a good move. You just get Helmasaur King out of the way right away. You gotta beat him anyway. Just get it done and then come back in.
And if he happens to not drop the map, then maybe you get lucky when you're doing the back and you isolate the map chest and don't have to open it.
Yep, that's true. And look at these two runners. They're basically making the exact same decisions.
I wonder if they realize, like, that the other is likely to have made effectively the same choices.
Frostbite didn't realize the switch. Frostbite. I think at least rushing pod makes sense. I mean, I think you'd think your opponent would rush pod as well, unless for some reason they didn't check Dark Cross, which is possible.
Yeah, and reading the book as a message to go to Desert, you know, it's not too far-fetched by any means. And so really the only unusual thing was that both of them did escape so early.
Nice helmet fight for Matt. There's an item there, and we get our first crystal.
So in the back, we have 2 small keys, 4 items, and a map.
I feel like we need 3 of something to complete that list.
So for other item logic possibilities here, I was thinking that this could be a 100% location seed. 100% location seed, which I think has like a 10% chance, but there's no way to know for sure, but one of the things about it is that you can't have a small key in the vanilla big key chest or in Harmless Hellway if this is 100% location. So if there isn't a small key in Harmless Hellway, I'm kind of suspicious.
Yeah, there's not much of a difference between the two modes, but it can help you with the routing a little bit if you know it. Unfortunately, no time savings.
Yeah, strike that. There's a small key in Harmless Hellway.
Yep, you're right. So we know it's either 100% inventory or beatable. Which, if it's beatable, not going to make much of a difference since we need all 7 crystals.
Right. I mean, we could have something silly like Ice Rod on the pedestal since TR is a pendant. I've seen that in beatable seeds before.
I don't know if you would like or hate that.
Well, it means you're not going to have to beat Trinex today.
That's true. I guess at least with the info, you could go to Turtle Rocks a little safely then, if you needed to.
But yeah, the only sort of progression we just got there was that Hera Big Key.
And that's not the progression you were hoping for.
But I think Matt's going to take that progression and go up Death Mountain.
Let's see. Yep, looks like Death Mountain is the play.
Would not at all surprise me if Frostbite does the same.
Yeah, he's starting at Sanctuary too.
Yeah, I mean, once you're at the big chest there, you don't have the mirror. You know, Death Warp costs some amount of time and then you'd have to walk out. It's easier to just save and quit back to the light world.
And the trailing continues. So Matt's gonna check inside Spectacle Rock, and then we'll have to drop down to go to across via the hook shop.
Yeah, fortunately, with no invincibility items, we don't have to worry about Spike Cave being in logic.
Oh, there's the flute.
Well, that's a nice little find.
A required item because of Meyer.
Though without the mitts, we can't immediately go there. Would be interesting if Meyer turns out to be Ether, though, because then, you know, with the mitts, we could just do Meyer.
Except we don't have Meyer big yet.
Oh, right, it's hard to remember that this is a big key shuffle when nothing else is shuffled.
It is. Yeah, both runners did go grab the flute first. They could have just gone across the bridge, and some runners would do that because they don't like making the climb up to check that. But it also makes the routing on Death Mountain kind of a little rough. Because then sometimes you have to make the choice between if you want to check Spiral Cave or go check Spectacle Rock.
So just to address chat, the logic for Spike Cave is either the Cane of Burna or Cape plus Magic Extension, where Magic Extension can either be in the form of a bottle or half magic.
Fire Rod pickup, which puts Skullwoods completable, but that's a pendant. I have to leave the big chest behind, but you could finish it.
Yeah, it also means once we get into the mitts.
Oh, there's that big key to Meyer.
I was I was saying, if we get the mitts, we should probably go to Meyer.
Well, now if we get the mitts, Meyer's definitely the play.
And given how this seed has just been taking us by the hand, I would bet money that Meyer's gonna be Ether.
Got a piece of heart in the island. Will they go for Hera? Matt is going to go for Hera.
So, addressing chat, the runners can't go straight for Hera. They didn't have the mirror to go up that side. They have to come up through Paradox Cave.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we do have Ether Tablet. There's that half magic.
So now a cape would put Spike Cave in logic, but, you know, we probably don't want to think about that.
I mean, Cape and Hera wouldn't be so bad. You could check it right away, at least. Though these runners would then have to isolate Spiral Cave.
Now, Hera's slightly more valuable than usual because it has 3 items rather than the usual 2. But if one of those is in the basement...
Matt is not going to Herapot.
It is harder without the boots. I can kind of understand not wanting to try to line it up. Though at the same time, that makes this more walking when you don't have the boots.
So there is a little chance. There's a chance for Frostbite to make up a little time right here. And there's the small key you didn't want to see.
Yeah, now you really don't want to see the map. So what do you think? Moldorm or the basement?
Let's say Moldorm. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the kind of the mindset today to curse these runners.
Yeah, I sure hope Moldorm.
If it was a smaller crystal requirement seed, maybe I'd hope for basement. But I kind of let's just let them have Moldorm and get out of here.
Wow. I'm not sure I've ever seen that hook shot Master Sword spin strat before. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was. And they do get their wish, or they probably were wishing for it. But yeah, no basement required today.
Also, no progression.
Unless the pedestal happens to have something, which we have 2 pendant dungeons that are completable right now.
Yeah.
But with Turtle Rock being the 3rd, we need quite a bit.
And it's great to see style differences between the runners, even as they're taking the same routes, like Frostbite went for Hammer Strats. Totally different, roughly the same amount of time to beat Moldorm.
So what will the next... I think your next play is basically Thieves Town at this point.
Yeah, that's... Well, you don't have the big key is the only thing.
Oh, good point, yeah.
I mean, that's like... What do you do? There's still the Eastern Palace area. We're getting close to Zora money.
It's a good question.
I mean, do you go into Pendant Skull Wood since you're going to be right there after activating the flute?
With an extra item in Pendant Skull Woods, I think there's definitely merit to doing that play right now. I think I would do it in this situation. The question I have, though, if you're these runners, do you use the book and check the pedestal right now?
Oh, now that's interesting, because they don't have the mirror, so you can't just loop it in with Skull Woods.
It's a little out of the way, but this, if you're going to do it, this is basically your best time. And some runners are of more information is better. Some runners are, it's a waste of time, I don't want to do it.
But given that the game's been basically holding your hand towards Pendant Dungeons, oh, but Matt is not going that way. Looks like he wants to do Eastern.
Which is fair, too. Density over here is pretty nice, so I can see that play. But this is, maybe we'll see some divergence here, finally.
Yeah, and if the Eastern big key shows up, that's a huge payoff because it means he won't have to double dip.
Let's see, Saharsla... Nothing. And he just came over here to check Saharsla. But we have Frostbite going to go straight into Dark World. So, a little bit of divergence. Matt's got 3 extra checks under his belt now. Frostbite's already got the hammer, so he's not going to check the pedestal. And looks like Matt's going to do the same.
Can't say I blame them.
Yeah, you're at minimum 3 items from that pedestal being in logic. I mean, I definitely could see a runner checking it just for the information, but I also understand not using the time.
Oh, and Frostbite is going straight for Village of Outcasts.
And more divergence. Matt's going to do Skull Woods.
Oh! Guess that Village of Outcasts play was probably the right thing to have done.
Yeah, now we've got a mire that potentially is clearable. We don't know. We'd have to confirm the medallion entry. But Matt's probably going to pick that up pretty quickly. But let's see if he finds something in Skull Woods.
Fetch quest.
Well, there's 2 of our 3 items.
That's good news. It'll get us out of here quickly.
Matt needs to wait for the Wallmaster elevator. That actually kind of worked out a little bit. Saved him a few frames.
Yeah, you don't too often see them getting gibdoed into the Wallmaster. And this is also interesting. I don't know if Matt doesn't remember that there's going to be a 3rd item, or if he just doesn't feel it's worth doing the middle and the back just for 1 item.
Could be either. Oh, there's our flippers, which we do need for Swamp.
And that also makes the Zora area checks a whole lot more attractive.
So these runners are really starting to pull apart a little bit. I mean, I saw a couple people in chat say that Frostbite's ahead, but at the same time, Matt has that mushroom pending. It could be something.
And with Cane of Samaria, we could do fake powder, too.
Yeah, that is an option right now. It's a little weird to route in, but I could see Matt grabbing the Smith and then doing it right then after that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Since they're here, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he wants to do Smith's Chain. Oh, more divergence.
Yeah, Frostbite did not check the front 4. There's Ice Rod.
This seed keeps screaming Pendant Dungeons, but to what end?
1 item still needed, though. We need the Turtle Rock Big.
And we might even still need a medallion to get in.
That's true. I mean, those silver arrows, nice.
And I have to imagine Matt will also do Stumpy.
There's the Thieves Town Small, which would be in here. And another fetch quest.
Fetch quests galore.
So, well, Frostbite's maybe a little ahead in checks. Matt's got 2 fetch quests pending.
Well, and really 3, since if he does Smith Chain, I fully expect him to fake powder as well.
That's a fair point. Okay, he's gonna do the hammer pegs, grab the smith afterwards. Looks like Frostbite's gonna make Saharsla check. Or no, he's gonna do flipper checks. He has just enough money for Zora. Another question we've got is, at what point do you go see what the GT entrance is? You need at least 3 crystals, you know that much. And you're going to need the GT big key to full clear it. But at what point do you start to think that GT might be an available option?
Well, I'd definitely do ice before I went up there. Because, as you pointed out, you need 3 crystals to get in anyway. If you can get 3 crystals,
And
do ice, see if you can do mire, and maybe then go up and check it out.
Speaking of ice, Frostbite's swimming that direction. He's gonna do ice. Red rupees being dug up by Matt. At least Matt got enough rupees to give him Zora money again.
Yeah, always nice when you can at least make your money back on that game.
A Frostbite and Ice Palace can complete this, but he'll have to leave the big chest behind. Logically, to complete this, you do need the big key, but most runners don't care about that.
Too bad we don't have a mirror. That would make getting around so much faster. You could do the shovel check and,
Alright. So it looks like Matt's going to turn in the smith first. As Frostbite does the icebreaker there. I didn't realize how long this has been around now, but this was actually around back in Season 2.
Yeah, about 3rd or 4th week of Season 2 it was legalized.
Yeah, so it's been around for a while now. I mean, still newer in terms of glitches, but it has been around for a bit.
Okay, guess we're full clearing ice.
But here's that other check we were talking about earlier, Meyer.
Oh, and he did not do fake powder. That's interesting.
That would have been his time to do it. No access to Meyer.
Yeah, I probably would have done fake powder, and having the flute and a bit of extra money in a bottle, I would have then done the mushroom turn-in and bought some green potion and refilled my magic while I was at it.
Yeah, so Matt's going to check that shovel next. Now, if Turtle Rock ends up being Ether, you gotta think there's something in Turtle Rock. I know some runners will swear by, if you have Turtle Rock access, you do Turtle Rock.
So it looks like we are not seeing fake powder. He wants to stay in logic.
Which makes sense. Fake powder generally is a little more beneficial early in the seed. You're kind of getting into the mid to late stages where it loses a little value.
I mean, could always turn up the boots.
Oh, he reset it. Never mind.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he didn't get anything useful from Shovel Spine. I think he saved and quit right before that. So, yeah, okay. And he's going to check Dark Death Mountain. Never mind. That was a fake out.
Oh, looks like he might be doing the ice play then.
Oh, got a big key to Swamp.
And without that mirror, that really doesn't do us any good.
Now, Matt's going to do checks we haven't seen yet. We have not seen the Waterfall or Zora yet. There's more than enough money for Zora. So Frostbite's at 2 crystals. Matt only has 1 done, but Matt has some extra overworld spots checked.
Oh, how about that?
Okay, Matt's gonna get boots first. And that's his victory song.
Little whistle toot. Yeah, so that'll definitely help him make up some of the time he took to do these extra checks.
And there's Burner for Spike Cave.
I feel like that mirror's gonna be our pesky item today.
Starting to look that way.
I mean, either that or Bombos, right? Those are the only other items we need.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think Frostbite's going to pick up those boots very shortly.
Oh, must be the King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks checks now.
If you got those boots, check them right away. So what do they still have left? Neither runner's been in Eastern yet. Can't get into Swamp. We've seen some of Skullwoods, but not all of it.
Right, but there's only 1 item remaining in Skullwoods. We have Dark Death Mountain, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Dark Death Mountain's looking like the next play.
Well, Matt might still do ice.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, and he didn't check Lumberjack at the beginning.
Yeah, it's not looking like you're going to be able to get to 3 crystals before you can go up Dark Death Mountain. Looks like
Matt's not even gonna bother with ice for the time being.
Dead rocked. Frostbite making the same play, gonna check the bonk spots.
That was a nice way to show the Dead Rock who's boss.
Yeah, that was pretty nice, and then the other Dead Rock decided, you don't do that to my friend. Well, maybe that's where their name comes from, Waffle House drive-thru.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do remember that little passage being called like the drive-thru. Right, moments of truth coming up here. Is Turtle Rock available? It is not. That ether's worthless.
So that's a bit of a relief for the moment.
Unless we find Quake. Okay, big key to desert. That's some extra checks. Big key to turtle.
Well, if Quake shows up, we can full clear TR now. And you pretty much have to do Spike Cave while you're up here now.
Yeah, we gotta go check GT Access anyway. Alright, so it looks like they're gonna be safe from Turtle Rock for the moment. But we're about to find out what that GT Access is gonna be.
And if GT is 3 crystals, that Desert Big Key does give us the access to a 3rd crystal.
3 crystals!
So it is entirely possible the game wants you to do Desert and Ice, and then full clear GT Basement.
And we don't even have the GT Big Key yet. We could still see something like a double dip GT.
We could also see GT Big Key and GT. I mean, if it was good enough for Ice, right?
That is true. So yeah, Frostbite's got the advantage now because he can get his 3rd crystal done quick and then
Where's Matt
go
going?
to GT.
Oh,
he's going to Ice. He's just...
Yeah, he's just doing Hobo first, I see. Yeah, the real question is, where is Go Mode? Because if if Frostbite eventually goes back and does, you know, Saha and the Front of Thieves and Skull Woods before he's hit Go Mode, then Matt makes the time back up.
So looking at our inventories, I think you can basically do all of the basement except for the big chest right now. Yeah, there's nothing missing with the need for the basement.
Yeah, Hammer Cane and Fire Rod and Hookshot are the main items you need for basement.
So yeah, Matt's doing deserts. And Frostbite follows.
Check the big chest while you're on the way, which is going to be the small key, and then you probably do Landmo, and then go back for the right side.
Yeah, they've got 1 item out of here, and there's 3. And we saw an item on the torch. Yeah, you do Landmo first. Because it could easily be map compass on the right side.
But I am getting pretty sus that GT is going to be our progression at this point.
Yeah, we really don't have much else that we haven't seen outside of GT. Mirror locks a lot. I mean, we have not been in Eastern yet. That could be a... That could still be something.
Right, we've got 4 checks available there, which will turn up at least 2 items.
And Frostbite is checking the right side first. I don't know if I saw him get an item. Silver arrow. Go ahead.
No, just this could save Matt some time because, yeah, I think it was just map and compass there. It was certainly compass in the back.
Nope, there was an item on the right.
Okay, but still he doesn't have to go all the way to the back. He'll get the 1 item and not go to the vanilla big key chest.
Our tracker says it was 20 rupees on the right. Which makes sense. If it was so small that it's one of those items you kind of gloss over. And sometimes even as a runner, you don't count it because you don't even see it as an item at times.
And shout-outs to our tracker, Artarl, who's keeping up with all this as the items go flying and the big keys go flying. So, is Matt gonna do ice or Eastern or what?
I mean, ice gets you that 3rd crystal, so it seems like the way to go. But at the same time, well, he doesn't know what's in logic. Like right now, he's probably thinking, I don't have 3 logical crystals. But he's gonna find out, yes, he does.
And GT is just too tempting. I mean, I'm guessing Frostbite's gonna go there.
Yeah, it's hard to see Frostbite not doing anything else right now. He's gonna go straight for... Gotta go straight for GT. 22 items there.
Yeah, and only 6 items worth of junk padding when it's a 3 crystal entry.
Yep, he's going straight for GT. Yes, even though we're going to GT, we don't have a big key, there's no game because there's no guarantee we're going to find the big key in GT. Yeah, chat will still guess anytime we go into GT.
Well, chat can always try to guess, what chest are we gonna find progression in? And that progression could be the GT big key. It could also be the Thieves big key, the Eastern big key, Mirror, or Bombos.
Just imagine the decision they're going to have to make if the thing they find here is Quake. Maybe even if it's something else as well.
Wow, that was a really clean icebreaker.
Alright, so Frostbite opens the tower. Matt gets the news that the Ice Palace big key was in Ice Palace. I mean, at least you know GT's in logic with that pickup, even if it leads to nothing.
Oh god, our tracker wants to find Quake here so that we have to full clear Turtle Rock.
Quake?
Oh no! No! Tracker's curse!
That puts Pedestal in logic, and that might be better for Matt than Frostbite, because Frostbite doesn't have the Ice Rod yet.
That was an awesome bunny form for Frostbite, by the way.
That was pretty nice. Now, Frostbite's doing tile room, but you're probably going to check... Well, I mean, you could skip this chest to save the time, but...
I mean, the really gutsy move would be to immediately leave with Quake and full clear TR.
Except the problem is you'd have to reclimb to get the TR because you don't have a mirror.
Oh, right. Right, we weren't able to open it.
And so that's where also the choice becomes a little harder after, because let's say you don't find Mir here. I mean, if Matt comes up here and finds Mir, I could definitely see him going straight for Turtle Rock. Frostbite, it's a harder decision because he doesn't have that ice rod. And because with that ice rod, that basically puts 2 items in logic. Because it's a Green Pen and Turtle Rock.
Oh, right. Ice Rod was front of Thieves Town?
Yep. There's a Tempered Sword.
Definitely a nice improvement. When we finally get to Ganon, probably an hour from now, we'll have a nice quick kill. Oh, Frostbite's setting up a Death Warp.
Yeah, he doesn't have the mirror.
Right, but he could have decided to go full right.
That is true. Actually, might have even been a little faster just to go full right.
Yeah, I probably would have... I mean, he has the Cane of Burna, too, so full right probably would have been better, and then you can just hang around and go left. Because you're full clearing the basement anyway at this point.
Yeah. There's the other sword. Okay, offense is not a problem now.
Now that was the Waffle House drive-thru.
Alright. Key, a heart container. Big key to Skull Woods. That's 2-point extra check.
But yeah, given that routing, I actually kind of wonder then if the optimal routing when you're full clearing anyway might not be full left and then go right.
I know going right is faster if you're going straight for Armos. But I don't know when you're going full clear, which is faster.
That's only assuming you have a key. Now, there was a key since he was able to go, right.
Another bottle.
Yeah, the thing is just that Rando Room is most of the way to Ice Armus, while Compass Room isn't, so what you save from noping out.
That is true. There's our cape.
Did anyone even check Bumper Ledge?
I don't know.
I don't
Probably
think
not
so.
Because, yeah, we haven't been to Graveyard Ledge either. You tend to like to route those in together. I guess we have seen Bumper. It was 50 rupees.
Oh, okay.
So far, the only thing we've found in here that's progression is that, where are you going? You don't have the GT Big Key.
Yeah, it's just a habit when you're thinking, okay, full clear the basement, you think about the big chest as well.
But so far, the only progression we found in here, we found Skullwood's Big Key and... Oh, there's Mirror.
That's progression.
Now, this is an interesting call. You've got full swamp access now, but at the same time, you've got everything for Turtle Rock. Are you tempted?
But as you pointed out, oh no, with that mirror, right, we can go right there. We don't have to reclimb the mountain.
Big key to Eastern. So now Turtle Rock loses quite a bit of appeal. But at the same time...
If I can do 2 full clears, I'm gonna... You know, and with the extra item in each dungeon, that's 7 items in Swamp and 4 in Eastern. I know the counterpoint is the logic's practically screaming Turtle Rock.
What could be in Turtle Rock, actually, at this point? We could have Bombos there. We could have the GT Big Key there. Could have the Thieves Town Big Key in Turtle Rock.
And any of those items could also be on PED.
I mean, it's... Yeah, I kind of do agree. You go down Death Mountain, you don't do Turtle Rock right now. But I wouldn't fault a runner for going to Turtle Rock.
I mean, TR would either be a total galaxy brain or a total time sink.
Turtle Rock and I have like a really bad relationship lately because it's like every time I leave Turtle Rock alone, there's something in it. We'll find out what Matt decides to do. He's going to also check Tile Room, which just had one of the small keys.
Oh yeah, that cape also makes Tile Room quite a bit easier. Thanks to this nice glitch where if you grab the wall while using the cape, you don't use any magic, because... Well, sure.
Oh, there's Bombos.
Okay, so that's item go mode. We just need the big keys to Thieves Town and GT now. And unfortunately, we have absolutely the entire map open to us, except for the back of Thieves Town and the top of GT.
Yeah. Matt, it looks like he's behind, but he's also done a few more overruled checks. So that's where the difference really is right now.
Right, so Frostbite will probably do Saha after this, and Matt will get a little bit of time back from that.
Matt will pick up his gold sword, and then he'll be out of here. He also saves a little time over Frostbite and how he routed that.
Well, especially given where the mirror turned up.
Yeah, Matt's gonna flute away. Not surprising at all. He wants to go for the crystal dungeons. And Eastern makes a lot of sense right now because you're sitting there thinking, I don't want to leave Eastern alone any longer. There's items that have been in logic since the beginning. For Frostbite, he's got Swamp and Mire, which will be his next plays, most likely.
So it is interesting. Frostbite is exactly 1 Eastern full clear ahead of Matt.
There is the big key to Ganon's Tower, which confirms that's a required double dip GT. But it also means the Thieves Town big key now has 5 extra spots it can be.
There are 212 places in the game that the Thieves Town big key can be now. Minus what we've already checked.
Actually, 210. Can't be Pyramid Fairy either.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a 5-6. Yeah, good point.
That also does confirm, though, we will not be seeing Pyramid Fairy. Frostbite is choosing Meyer.
Interesting because, well, I mean, Swamp is definitely more time if you're full clearing it. Meyer may or may not be full time. Oh, right, no, we have the big key, so yeah, if he's full clearing this could cost time and depends on what Matt does.
Yeah, if now we're going to go to Swamp and find the Thieves Town Big quick, then he can make up some time. But at the same time, if Frostbite finds the Thieves Town Big here, then he gets a quick Swamp.
Right, though with Boots and Diver down, checking left side Swamp isn't a horrible thing.
So I think for Matt, he wants Swamp and Meyer to be empty. He wants a for his best chance right now is a Thieves Town Big Key hunt.
Especially if it winds up on Ped.
But at the same time, I don't think it's going to take Frostbite too long to find that Ice Rod, because at some point, he's just going to go for the front of Thieves Town, because it's going to be his most dense location.
And that also means if the Thieves Town Big Key is either on Trinex, on Saha, or on Ped, then it's a required double dip of Thieves.
Now, if these runners do really start to worry about Ped, they do have the option to full clear Skull Woods and loop the check in there. But I expect them to do that after they've cleared every crystal they've got available. Now, actually, with the GT Big Key, it might make sense to just go back up to GT after these dungeons, finish GT, because you have to do it either way. The tough call would be, do you go to the basement and get that one check?
Right, which requires a full loop through again.
So I think that's what we're going to see for at least Frostbite. He's going to full clear Swamp, full clear Meyer. If he doesn't have it, he's going to full clear GT. And then from there, he'll have a decision to make.
Hey, and we got Divergence again. Matt is going for Swamp.
This is another spot Matt can make up the time. If he finds the Thieves Town Big Key here, he's going to have a quicker Meyer. And we know the next big key we see has to be the Thieves Town Big Key. We've got every other one.
Wow.
And if you're these runners, at what point do you start to worry that maybe your opponent already is in go mode?
Well, you kind of know what you have left, and that if your opponent is in go mode, it's not going to be that long before you see the dot done. So I think at this point in the game, you just kind of have to hope for the best. Because I think basically whichever of these runners hits go mode first, unless, you know, they've converged, it's basically GG's to whoever hits go mode first.
Yeah, this is kind of this season's version of an Ice Rod hunt. Whoever finds it first wins. Frostbite's got the advantage because he's a little further ahead in the Crystal Dungeons, but that may not last.
Right, because Matt's actually ahead in checks. Nice spooky glitch execution on Frostbite's side. Of course, I said that and cursed him.
There's red mail, which is nice, but doesn't really help us at this point.
And those early silvers really paying off for Vitreous and Ice Armos. Oh, and Matt is... I guess we haven't seen either of the dungeon items yet, right? So he's gonna hope for the God Swamp.
Yeah, we haven't seen either dungeon item. And it wouldn't surprise me if he decides to skip left side swamp. And
so far, so good.
Yeah. What's Frostbite's next play? Did he never check a Gina? Oh no, he hasn't checked checkerboard. Yeah, neither of them had
he just got the mirror.
There it is.
Oh my! So the best thing that Matt could do right now would be to go to checkerboard before Meyer, but it seems unlikely. Because if Matt does Meyer first, he's full clearing it, and that's GG's. If Matt somehow does checkerboard before Meyer, there is a chance.
So despite all of the signs that Turtle Rock had something, it had nothing. And chat talking about how he needs to get it before Meyer. It's a tough call. I mean, I could see you checking it before Meyer, but the way he's been playing, I expect him to just go straight into Meyer. He's going to check Bombos, actually.
Oh. Unfortunately, this is just going to eat up another half minute. I mean, I don't blame him. He's right there. And it was basically, as we said, you know, whichever one of the runners came up with the big key first, it's practically GG's. And what is Matt doing now? Going back to the Dark World?
I don't know. He's not going to go back in the swamp.
Oh, Cave 45, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I hope he's not going to do Purple Chest as well. That's just going to eat up way too much time. But if he's doing all these mirror checks, let's hope he's like, okay, mirror checks, checkerboard. Because for all these runners have done, you know, I don't want to see it be a blowout after all this.
By the way, that was a mirror check. Mirror check, that's mirror shield.
Right.
Alright, does he do... Nope, he's going straight into Maya.
No. Okay, GG's.
Yeah, Frostbite's lead is pretty much set at this point.
And, you know, Fendrana Drifters is outcapping Team Kappa when it comes to luck.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically an ice rod hunt, and Frostbite got it first. That's basically what it came down to. It's still not over. There's still a lot that could happen, but it's gonna take something for Matt to catch up at this point.
And yeah, regarding chat, we call it Cave 45 because south of Grove Cave just never caught on.
Matt still has a couple opportunities to save time if he doesn't check cutscene or some things like that, but we'll see.
Just seems unlikely.
That is Frostbite's 6th crystal. Just needs to go finish Swamp, and then he has to do the GT climb.
And you feel bad because, I mean, Frostbite is really good on execution, but Matt has just been fantastic with execution this seed. And he just didn't do the mirror check he needed.
Yeah, it also just came down to Matt just making some extra overworld checks that didn't pay off.
Right, I mean, you take out Skull Woods in the front of Thieves, and you wonder how close they'd be. Because at that point, yeah, Matt did most of Swamp and Frostbite's about to go moded, but then, you know, Matt's execution would probably balance things out.
Matt will save a little time by skipping cutscene. Oh, never mind.
Spoke too soon.
So yeah, just as a reminder, what's in on the line for this division? I mean, Fendrana Drifters with a win here basically take control of this division.
Yeah, I haven't worked out all the tiebreaker possibilities, but it might even be a clinch just because, you know, a lot of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place teams still need to face each other, so they can't all win out from here to try to keep pace.
Not quite a clinch yet. They'll have basically a 3-game advantage, 3-game/9-point advantage with 5 to go, so it wouldn't be a clinch just yet, but it could be a clinch if they sweep Waffle House drive-thru.
Yeah, actually, that's almost certainly a clinch. It's just right. It's not mathematically a clinch if they win today. It's more that when you then factor in which of their opponents still have to play each other, that might. I haven't worked through all the possibilities there, but that might be enough to make it a clinch just because some of their opponents will have to lose some games still.
So, kind of looking ahead. So, the other teams in this are Tile Roomies and Team Kappa. Fendrana Drifters has already swept Team Kappa. So, if Fendrana Drifters gets both wins this week, they eliminate Team Kappa from at least 1st place. And they'd also eliminate Waffle House Drive-Thru from 1st place contention. That would leave just Tile Roomies as the only other team that could catch them. And Fendrana Drifters and Tile Roomies play the last week.
Yeah, no, so if they get 2 wins this week, it's pretty clearly a clinch. Right, and the thing is that Fendrana Drifters and Tile Roomies still play each other, and Waffle House Drive-Thru and Team Kappa, I believe, still play each other. Or maybe Team Kappa still plays Tile Roomies? Now I have to check the schedule.
I actually have it up. So Fendrana Drifters, remaining 2 weeks after this, is Yu-Tang Clan and Tile Roomies. Then Waffle House Drive-Thru still has CLW and Team Kappa.
And it's Team Kappa that has both Waffle House Drive-Thru and Tile Roomies. So there we go. That's the thing that, like, Waffle House Drive-Thru, Tile Roomies, and Team Kappa can't all keep pace after this week because Team Kappa's playing both of the other 2.
Now, of course, that doesn't mean that the other teams don't have anything to play for. There are 3 teams advanced out of each division. So there's still 2nd and 3rd to play for, and we're going to have what looks like a 3-way race in this division for those last 2 spots. Because at this point, basically right now we have Waffle House Drive-Thru, Tile Roomies, Team Kappa all tied at 18 points, and then the next closest team is CLW at 9. So while some of these other teams aren't eliminated yet, it's pretty hard to see them catching up at this point. So Matt's out of Meyer, and he's about to find his big key. But as he's finding his big key, Frostbite is climbing to GT. So at this point for Frostbite, it's just a climb up GT. It's pretty standard. Matt still has to go finish Thieves Town. So Matt's probably at minimum 2 to 3 minutes behind.
Right, in Thieves Town, you know, even in Go mode, you still have to rescue Blind and bomb the hole and everything.
So yeah, this is Frostbite's race unless something happens. I mean, for Mystery Week, this was pretty interesting for a Mystery Week seed still. I mean, the 3 Crystal GT made the decision-making a little more interesting, though the way the seed played out, you were pretty much forced to go to GT at 3 crystals. I think the other 4 crystals were locked behind that. Eastern was, Meyer was, Thieves Town was. Yep, they were all locked. The other 4 crystals were locked behind GT.
Yeah, between the Mirror and the Bombos and the Eastern Big Key all being in GT.
Well, I think it was Eastern Big Key and the Mirror and GT. Eastern Big Key led to Bombos, and then the Mirror led to the Thieves Town Big. And people also talking about the other side of the league, which is the side we're starting to talk about. We don't like to talk about it, but of course we've got to talk about it. It's relegation, as in these last few weeks, some teams are just going to be playing to avoid it. And you can't, I mean, you don't want to talk about it, but you gotta.
I mean, it does make things more interesting because even if you've been eliminated from a playoff spot, you still have something to play for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and in this division, actually, the last 4 teams are all still kind of at risk of it. Because the last 4 teams, we got 2 teams tied at 9 points, 2 teams tied at 6.
Yeah, this division really kind of sorted itself out into the top 4 and the bottom 4.
It's the only division that really did that, because the other 3 divisions have at least like 6 teams in contention.
Yeah, including Misery Meyer division, your division, which coming into this week was like a 5-way tie for second.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty crazy entry to the week, and then it got even more crazy with Shaq Tool's Digging Game. They dropped both of their matches to Did You Check Your Boot, who got themselves up quite a few wins. So, I mean, entering this week, first place seems somewhat a little further out, but now even first is in play. So Matt's got his 7th crystal. Sorry, go ahead. And Matt's got
I was just going to talk about the other side.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Light World Conference, Kakariko Division and Lost Woods Division. You know, Lost Woods Division, there are 2 teams that are kind of at the bottom. And in Kakariko Division, you know, it's a steady stream of records with, you know, even the Sexy Ganons, who are in 7th, still have an outside chance. And then there's unfortunately Op Got Good, which is 0-9 right now.
Yeah, unfortunate for Op Got Good, but they're not out of it yet. They can still play their way out of this. Though it's going to take a little bit of help at this point, probably.
They've just been super unlucky in a few of their games.
But actually, they could end up being the first team for relegation if they lose their other game to Sexy Ganons they're playing this week.
Right, because then the best they could do would be to come back to tie, but Sexy Ganons would have the tiebreaker.
Anyway, we should focus on Frostbite, who's on his Ganon fight, or not Ganon, but Aga fight.
Almost a triple there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this kind of just went that way just because of how the race played out. You know, there's not much to talk about with Frostbite's climb.
Yeah, so Frostbite is exactly a GT climb ahead of Matt, and that would be several Ganon falls worth. I don't see that happening, especially with Butter Sword and Silvers and half magic.
Yeah, he's on target to be just under 130 for this. I think with Gold Sword and Silver Arrows, you can probably get this under sub 130 here.
And sub 130 is pretty awesome for a big key shuffle and a double dip of GT.
Yeah, that's true. Especially considering we didn't get boots until like 45 minutes into the seed. Maybe even later. I don't remember exactly when we found those. I mean, at this point, it's all about the teleports. And Ganon's giving you Frostbite some nice teleports.
Yeah, I blinked and I missed 3 phases of Ganon.
Now, unfortunately, Ganon's positioning here... Well, no, he's... Oh, maybe not. No, I think, yeah, he's just gonna get the sub 130 as Ganon goes down.
So get your GGs in. Phendrana Drifters will be 9-0. And Frostbite crosses with an official race time of 1:29:50.
Meanwhile, Matt is finishing up his GT climb, heading up to... Getting close to the Moldorm 2 fight. People are asking what the mode was. This was a 3-7 defeat Ganon, assured sword to start, in open mode. We didn't really have much. Yeah, we didn't really have much to this beyond the big key shuffle and the 3 crystal GT. Those are the 2 big things that Mystery did to this seed. Chad asking about the other match for Phendrana Drifters this week. Let's see, I think that's scheduled. Maybe not.
I think it's Jet.
Oh, there it is, yep. Salty Fry versus Jet tomorrow at 7:10 Eastern.
And lest we forget, with the main tournament postponed to the spring, Jet is still the reigning champion of the main ALTTPR tournament. Oh, and Matt gets the triple. Nice. Oh, that should have been a double triple, but the 2 landed right together.
Nat is about to land in on his Ganon fight, and he's got another Gold Sword, Silver Arrow fight coming up as well. Didn't even need to do that, but I think that's just kind of force of habit there.
And then as soon as this is over, we'll get both the runners in here and have a little chat.
Yeah, these teleports are pretty quick, so Matt will be done shortly. Setup, he might have a triple here. Not quite.
Oh. Still doesn't have to relight the torch. So GG's to Matt, who just needs to cross the bridge here. And he finishes with an official race time of 1:33.42, so just a little under 4 minutes difference. And while we're waiting for Matt, we do have Frostbite in here with us, so GG's, dude.
Whoops, I hit the wrong button there. Yo, thanks, Drosy. GG's to Matt as well. Yeah, I got super lucky. I don't understand how this works out for me every time, but like I play these ladder seeds and I get smashed. Except for Matt. I'm surprised that it wasn't within 5 seconds because we usually end up really close together, it seems. But I got so lucky in this seed. Like I was looking at Thieves Town when I got there, and I'm like, I got 11 hearts. I have blue mail. I have no mirror. I have no binky. If I step in there, I'm going to have to go out the manual way because death warping is not ideal. And I just decided I'm not going to do that. And then I put off Skullwood, so I decided I'm just not going to do that. And I put off Eastern forever, and I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go to GT. And not only was there value in GT, but like every single item I was missing was locked by things in GT with like, it's so stupid, really. Like the EP Big Key blocked both Bombos and the GT Big Key, which is incredible. And then the mirror blocked the TT Big Key, and it was just I avoided basically everything, and I got to skip a lot of things. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you guys should watch the playback because you guys were both doing GT Basement at the same time.
Okay.
And Matt's also here, by the way.
And GG's, dude.
Yeah, GG.
And like I didn't go to Swamp first. I easily could have gone to Swamp first. Like I just I felt really good about the order I picked to do things in.
Well, I was going to say you mentioned you didn't want Death Warp in Thieves Town, and then you go into GT and.
Well, I know I was really annoyed with myself because I know that when you don't have the mirror, you got to go left first because then you can just sort of go out the front and go in the back. But I didn't remember that until I was halfway through Tau Room, and I'm thinking, well, do I just like go back now? That's kind of dumb, right? So I just continued and I just bit the bullet and did the Death Warp because I didn't want to go all the way to the back because I feel like if I do that, then there's like 100% chance I'm going to find the GT Big Key on the left side somewhere. So I just decided that like I feel like I made two little mistakes. That was the first one. The second one was I meant to do Checkerboard Cave before Meyer, but I didn't remember between like the 30 seconds before I, in between when I decided that's what I was going to do and then I actually got there. I ended up going into Meyer first, which was like a little mistake, but I don't know. Honestly, I feel like this was one of the, like, routing aside, I felt like I played really well in this seed. I took a bit of a break and I feel like my execution's like maybe better than ever now because I took a step back and I was able to sort of look at some things and this one felt really good and this was like we had circled this matchup with the Waffle House with Matt, and we figured Matt and Salty Fry specifically would be our opponents, so we figured it was going to be a super rough week for us. And I don't know what to say. I feel like I got really lucky. I feel like I feel like if we race 10 times, he beats me more than 5 times, and I just happened to win tonight, and that's about it.
Yeah, and Matt, you were still in it. Like, if you had fluted to 6 right after Argus and done Checkerboard before doing Meyer, I honestly don't know which of you guys would have won.
Yeah, I don't think that's 4 minutes, but it's possible, yeah. I mean, listen, I am shocked that I lost this. I'm not going to lie. like skipping TR was super greedy, which I did, and it worked out. I know Frostbite plays super aggressive, so I tried to match that and play pretty aggressive. Looking through the VOD here, I did not play quite as aggressive as Frostbite did. So, like, you say we were in GT basement at the same time, but he entered GT. The gap between us entering GT was bigger than the finishing gap. So all the time was made up before the GT entry, which makes sense based on what he said.
Yeah, exactly. You had up Skullwoods, you had up Thievestown. Did you go to Eastern earlier as well?
No, I went to Desert before going to the Eastern area.
Okay, so we did the same thing. I saw that book and I was like, I hate the book early. I always go to Desert. It never pays off, but I'm still gonna do it because like Eastern sucks. And yeah, I know. So that was basically I don't know. I did Hera early, and like I know in these races once you start like it's not like Hera was a bad play. You didn't have to go into the basement. It wasn't that slow. I didn't take 3 hours on Hera Pot. So like. But I'm already starting to think at that point, what can I skip to try and make up that time that I just sunk into this Hera? And I didn't even really intend to skip Skullwoods or Thievestown, but just the way it worked out with finding I was going to return to Smith, and then I was going to come back up into the Dark World and go into Thievestown and then up to Skullwoods. The second time I came there, but then I found a whole bunch of stuff. I found the flippers, and I found I don't know what else it was, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go up. I think I hadn't been up the mountain yet, or maybe it was Dark Death Mountain, but I was like, I'm just gonna put this off for one more time. And then I just never, like, I always found things, and like my strategy in these is like, if I put something off, I'm not going to just arbitrarily go back and do that when I've found a progression item in front of me. I'm going to assume that what I'm looking for is further ahead, because that's what's better for me. If I go back to Skullwoods and something's there and my opponent goes there right away in the Dark World, it doesn't do me any good to get it 15 minutes later or 25 minutes later, honestly. So I just, I got, you know what I said, it got lucky. It was a fairly, nothing I didn't do hurt me.
So the other thing, I don't know if you guys are aware, but you were matching each other the first half hour. You did all the same checks. Matt did escape and then cack. Frostbite did cack and then escape, but came out in the wash. And you had really done identical checks right up until you both activated the flute, and that's where you diverged.
I'm not that surprised by it. I feel like Matt's a really good player, and I like to think I make good decisions. So when it comes out and it says that like that you both did the same things, I feel like it kind of makes sense. I feel like the seed wasn't, it wasn't particularly trolly, or like, the play was basically go to GT when GT has a million items in it, and especially with a 3 crystal GT, the likelihood of it having something is so high. I'm not totally surprised that. That we did the same thing. And with the flute, it's like at that point, like the routing is sort of not that important per se, because it takes the same amount of time to get the stuff as long as you're not isolating things and you're just clearing off chunks of the map. It just is it's sort of luck at that point. Like a lot of this comes down to, because I feel like Matt has better execution than me. I feel like I've gotten a lot better more recently, but he's really good. Like his NMG time is really, really good. So that's definitely something I'm taking into consideration when I go into a race like this. And if I felt like I was playing an opponent that I could significantly out execute, I definitely would have checked Skullwoods earlier, and I definitely would have gone into Thievestown. But I didn't feel like I didn't feel that way in this race, and I think I made the right play, and I read the sort of the matchup right, because Matt's really, really good.
It's the same thing. The reason I didn't go into Turtle Rock is because of who my opponent was. If I was playing almost anybody else, I would go there.
Yeah, you gotta like think like with me, like, okay, is Ice Palace early available? Okay, I'm going to Ice because I know Frostbite's going to go to Ice, especially when that Cane came up pretty early as well. But no, yeah. I wish we'd gotten a little more of a, maybe not necessarily the worst of the worst, but a little more variety in this. But you play the seed that you got, and I'm sure we'll match up in the ladder and mystery like we always seem to do in the next couple weeks, and you'll probably beat me 2 or 3 times in a row there, and I just got this one.
Yeah. Looking at your collection rates too, I mean, I think that also tells part of the story here. Frostbite at 147, Matt at 162.
Oh yeah, that's a
big difference.
That's a huge difference. Yeah, like, and that shows like 4 minutes. Like you calculate that per second. Those aren't a lot. Like there's not a lot of time in between each of those checks. It's like I said, the dude's really good. Anyways, I gotta step off. I gotta catch my breath. Like I said, this was a really good race. Happy to keep the undefeated streak live somehow. Good luck, Jet, tomorrow against Salty Fry. That's gonna be a heck of a match as well. And yeah, I mean, basically looking forward to watching some more of these mystery matches. And just again, a GG's to Matt, and thanks to JP and to Drossi for the call, and Arterel for the tracking, and to all the people keeping the wheels running behind the scenes of the ALTTPR League. All right, take care, everybody. I got to
GG's, dude.
GG's again, Matt.
Yeah, GG's again to our runners, and please give them a follow. I mean, these are both really good runners. I'm sure both of their teams will wind up in the playoffs one way or another, regardless of who clinches when. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of both of them over the next several weeks. Thanks again to our tracker, Artarl, who was really on top of the tracking today, with nearly full trackers, as you can see, including every single big key in the game, even though we didn't need half of them. Yeah, and JP, always nice to work with you.
Yep, good working with you too. Yeah, thanks to our tracker. Make sure to give our runners a follow. Looking at the schedule, starting tomorrow at noon, we've got kind of a nice little lineup of games that's going to almost take us through the end of Saturday. Just kind of how some of these play out. Like there's not gonna be many times that you're gonna look at the SpeedGaming channels and not see a match going on.
Yeah, in fact, we're going to have a Burning the Midnight Oil match as our nightcap tomorrow, starting at 2 a.m. So yeah, all the way from noon to 2 a.m. we'll be having matches on here tomorrow. And you even have a match at 11 tomorrow, so...
Yep. And then after that 2 a.m. match, you get a little break until 8:40 a.m. when we start right back up.
Right, that's when the Europeans come in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through the schedule. We've got some really good matches coming up here too. Like starting out tomorrow, we've got Ack versus Magnificent. That is going to be that is a matchup of like a second place team versus third place. What else?
Yeah, well, and then the two matchups at 310, we were discussing relegation, but both of those matchups are teams trying to stave off relegation. You have Sir Link versus Yagamoth, which would be a great match, and you wouldn't expect either of those players to be at the bottom of their divisions, and that's just really more a statement of how tough the divisions are in the Invitational League.
Yep, and then you've got at the same time Sphere Vinity versus CLW, Sabatender versus Pika Pals, another one you don't really expect, but yeah, they're going to be playing just to get a few more points. They're not as much danger, but they obviously like to get everyone they can to avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, right, because that's this division that we've just been watching where, there are four teams kind of clustered towards the bottom and four teams clustered towards the top, and one of those four teams towards the bottom will be sent down to the Open League, so they're all kind of trying to make sure they're not that one. So it should still be a really cool matchup. And of course, as we discussed, these two teams, Waffle House Drive-Thru and Fendron Drifters, will be the 7 o'clock show tomorrow. So it should be a really good day.
Yeah, no, a lot of people home for the holiday weekend, so plenty to watch at least the holiday weekend in the U.S. But yeah, plenty to watch. Make sure to keep an eye on the stations. No channels assigned yet. They'll probably be assigned by the morning. So just keep an eye on the schedule for those.
Yeah, and again, happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the U.S. Hope you were able to have an enjoyable one.
Yep, I am going to go get my dessert after this. I still haven't had my pumpkin pie yet.
Well, enjoy that. Sounds like a great way to end the evening after this race. And yeah, have a great evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody.